And welcome to the Israel-Germany webinar event. My name is Coral Arush, and I am the director of the support program for the Technology Infrastructure Division, as well as organizing academic and industry-involved events by the Israel Innovation Authority. Following last year's success, we will commence a number of meetings with the academic and the industry of this year. The goal is to expose the Israeli industry to the knowledge collected in the academic and to innovate technologies in a variety of fields. We hope that with this meeting, we could create the foundation for a platform to cooperate with tools of the Israel Innovation Authority and the other external tools. Today's meeting is the first of a series of meetings that we will do this year. During the meeting, researchers from Fraunhofer Institute will present the technology created for commerce in Israel. In room number 1, we will discuss technologies in the water and environment fields. In room number 2, we will discuss technologies in the agriculture, food, medical, and cosmetic fields. In room number 3, we will discuss the technologies in the production and robotics fields. So what do we want to achieve? We hope that we'll be able to assist the researcher from the Fraunhofer Institute to expose these technologies with economic potential, as well as exposing the Israeli industry to a new technological knowledge, which will enable the development of innovative products or the betterment of existing products. For any question, please ask us in the webinar chat. To welcome you all, I'm honored to present Dr. Ami Appelbaum, Director of the Israel Innovation Authority and the lead scientist in the Ministry of the Economy.
Thank you, Coral. Good morning, everyone. I would like to thank, I assume, the Ambassador of Germany to Israel, Dr. Susan Wassum-Reiner, is with us. I did not see her, but I welcome her. I welcome you to this important meeting. I also want to thank the president of Fraunhofer, Professor Raymond Nugebayer. It's the second time in a month that we are seeing each other. I hope that soon and listening to each other. I hope I will not bore you since it's the second time you hear me. And I hope that very soon we will be able to see each other physically and not just over a screen. And thank you, the organizer, Dr. Aviv Zeevi, and again, Coral, thank you very much for setting this up. I'm really glad to open this Germany-Israel webinar event to increase the collaboration between the two industry, the Fraunhofer Institute and the Israeli companies that have the potential to get all of us into a new height. Israel Innovation Authority, as you may know, is to leverage the Israel innovation technology to create a sustainable economical growth in the state of Israel. And I'm sure that that collaboration will be also serve the technology and the growth of German economy, especially in light of the competition that we see from all over the world. We have in Israel Innovation Authority, we distribute every year, or last year, we distributed about 700 million euro of public money to a private sector. 2020 was a record year. Usually we are distributing about 500 million. And due to the COVID-19 crisis, on our side is the economical crisis. The government distributed even 200 million euro more than on the average year. We are distributing this money for the whole spectrum of product life cycle, of company life cycle, from technology transfer from academia to industry, or from research institute to the industry, through ideations, incubator, startup, SME, and even we distributed fund for a large company if they are developing a breakthrough technology, a disruptive technology, then the government of Israel, through Israel Innovation Authority, is distributing this money. One of the most successful successful program and the major growth engine is the international collaboration. It's very clear that not all the wisdom and not all the knowledge and definitely not all the global market exist in Israel. We short on all of those. The only way to close those gaps, especially in that case on talent, on ideas, is to collaborate and work globally with our other organizations. So I'm really glad that we have the opportunity today to work and explore opportunity with Fraunhofer. The collaboration that we are looking, as I said, going through the spectrum of a company and product lifecycle. So in Israel Innovation Authority, in the international program, we have the knowledge commercialization program that started in 2017, where we, together with Fraunhofer, have the 2+2 program, where Israeli company jointly with Israeli Academia or Research Institute, working opposite research or academia institute in Germany, in this case Fraunhofer, and the industry. The 2+2 that we call it, which is 2 on each side, academia and industry, is also in collaboration with BMBF, the Federal Ministry of Education and Research. And the purpose of that is to transfer knowledge from academia to the industry. Israel Innovation Authority opened a call for company to bid on in about 20 million euro. And the Israelis put us 10 million, and the German side put the BMBF the other 10 million. Over the last 3 years, 13 projects of that collaboration were granted. And out of those 13, Fraunhofer won 7 of those. So no wonder that we are really eager to explore and continue with Fraunhofer and to build this bridge to the market. Also, in another area of collaboration with Germany is in Horizon 2020. Israel and Germany are the two, from Israel point of view, Germany is the largest partner for Israel. And in total of 4 billion euro grant in Horizon 2020 were given to program between Israeli companies and German companies. So that's very, very significant amount of money for Israel, for sure, the 4 billion euro, 4.5 billion euro, 541 joint project with more than 2,700 participants from both sides. So that's significant collaboration. That tells all of us, we know how to do this collaboration. And for sure, it's bring value to both countries. Otherwise, no one does it for philanthropic purpose, although philanthropic is important. But here we are not dealing with philanthropy, we're dealing with business. Israel, Europe R&D, ISAD, and BAFO, the Bavarian Research Alliance, established a very strong and successful collaboration that dealing with a project that interesting both country and both region in Bavaria and Israel, including agriculture, energy, food, and more, to the point that Bayfor even established an office in Israel, and we really appreciate it very, very much. There are multiple bilateral agreements between a German company and German federal government and institution and Israel. One bilateral agreement is with the BMWI, the German Federal Ministry of Economic Affairs and Energy, and the German Eureka. Also, we have a bilateral agreement with the BMBF, which include the 4 million euro, 2 on each side over 5 years. And again, we got calls and we approve out of 95 applications, we approve about 78. So it is going very well. Additional opportunity is in the health tech, and I expect this collaboration on health tech issue now take priority, I think, across the world. And here we are already what I call the tail end of development. If the 2+2 is ideation and technology transfer from academia to industry, now we're talking on pilot program in healthcare where product is developed. Now you want to test it at the customer side, or if it is a health program at hospitals or medical services provider. And here we have agreement with the hospital, the Charité Hospital at the University of Berlin. I visited there about a year and a half ago. The program is to promote and support advanced research in healthcare capability. And the area that it's being focused is digital health, remote diagnostic, wearable medical diagnostic, and treatment devices. There were 120 submissions, only 10 selected, which mean that we are only let a very good and promising project to go through, especially not to waste anyone's time. And we are have a really good deal flow here. So I hope that this webinar and collaboration will increase even more the overall Germany and Israel collaboration, but especially with the superpower of Fraunhofer Institute. For me, it's a superpower of institute who knows how to take ideation, basic research, translate it into applied research, running the applied research, and translate it into product. And I'm really glad that we have this opportunity for this collaboration. And thank you.
Thank you, Ami. I'm very honored to welcome our dear guest, Professor Raymond Nagelbauer, President of Fraunhofer Institute.
Thank you, dear Ambassador Dr. Wasum Reiner, dear Ami Appelbaum. Ami, thank you so much for your kind words about the performance of Fraunhofer. I hope we can continue your impression about our performance also in the future. Dear Dr. Sevi, dear directors, Mrs. Koral Itzaki and Mrs. Lital Buryan, dear industry representatives, dear Fraunhofer colleagues, dear ladies and gentlemen. It is my distinct pleasure to give you a short welcome speech here in this morning. Applied research is, as Ami mentioned, the foundation of Fraunhofer. We partner with companies to transform original ideas into innovations that benefit society and strengthen the economy. Fraunhofer's mission, applied research, thrives on transfer into practice. And we utilize several ways of transferring project results and know-how. Successful technology commercialization requires a broad and differentiated set of transfer paths. The choice of the appropriate exploration option for technology is a critical factor for success. At Fraunhofer, the following technology transfer paths have proven to be particularly effective. At first, contract research for industry or public-private partnerships. It's in most cases exclusive IP for the companies. Exploration of intellectual property by licensing, education and part-time training for people and employment, and shareholdings and spin-offs. In the last time in Germany, increased the activities in the field of spin-offs. Considering the first technology transfer path, contract research, Fraunhofer has been collaborating for many years trustfully and successfully with partners from Israel, both from industry and from academia, in many different formats and funding schemes. For example, there are almost 100 Horizon 2020 projects in which Fraunhofer collaborated with partners from Israel. Another example for publicly funded collaborations is the highly successful bilateral call of our ministers on applied nanotechnology, facilitated strongly by the Israel Innovation Authority. The result were 13 Israeli-German projects, 8 of them, more than 50%, are together with Fraunhofer, which all started in 2018. Apart from publicly funded consortia projects, Fraunhofer also collaborated with industry directly. In 2020, 22 Fraunhofer institutes collaborated with Israeli companies with a total project volume nearly from 2 million euros. The main research area were life sciences, microelectronics, and materials. Now, the new tech transfer program of the Israel Innovation Authority offers yet another promising way for collaborations between Fraunhofer and Israeli companies, as it fits perfectly to the second one of our main technology transfer paths, exploration of IP. More than 20 technologies will be presented today by 9 Fraunhofer institutes in this morning. The research fields and application areas range from water technologies, agriculture, food, pharmaceutical, cosmetics, and medical care to materials, manufacturing, robotics, and electronics. It's a wide range of topics. I would like to specifically thank Professor Rafi Wertheim, Fraunhofer Senior Advisor Israel, and Nimrod Witsansky, Fraunhofer Advisor Israel, for their continuing efforts to facilitate contacts between our Fraunhofer institutes and Israeli partners in general, and in particular for this event and since a lot of years. I wish all of you successful and instructive event. I am looking forward to hearing about the outcome and the emerging promising collaborations. And thank you so much, and all the best and fruitful discussions and results for this event here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Neugebauer. I'm honored to welcome the German ambassador in Israel, Dr. Wasum Reiner.
Thank you very much. Dear Dr. Appelbaum, dear President Neugebauer, and dear participants from wherever you are. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to welcome all of you to today's German-Israeli tech transfer event. Thank you very much, the Israel Innovation Authority, the IAA, and you, Dr. Appelbaum, not only for your very cordial, warm, important introductory words, but also for hosting this, let me say, top-class event and for generously supporting, in general, German-Israeli cooperation under the umbrella of the International Tech Transfer Program. And thank you very much also to the Fraunhofer Gesellschaft and to you, Professor Neugebauer, for your initiative and for believing so strongly, just as I do as ambassador, in the potential and the great power of German-Israeli cooperation. Israel and Germany are innovation champions. Both of our countries occupy top positions in international innovation rankings. They both invest heavily in research and development. And both countries are known for their highly skilled human capital, their academic excellence, and their extraordinary innovative business sectors. Innovation is not an end in itself. Innovations are the key to strong and resilient economies and for coping with the challenges of the 21st century. The COVID crisis had made this more than evident. And the COVID crisis also reminds us forcefully that only if we share capabilities and expand them through the integration of international know-how, we will retain our strengths and be successful. And this is exactly, as it was said already, what is happening here today. Researchers from the Fraunhofer Gesellschaft, a superpower, as we just rightly heard, one of the world's most renowned organizations in the field of applied research, will share their innovative ideas with representatives from Israel, one of the world's most vibrant business sectors. Germany and Israel take pride in calling themselves innovation nations, rightly so. So thank you very much. I just want to remind as an ambassador that partnership and research and innovation stood at the beginning of our German-Israeli relations after the horrors of the Shoah. And we trust that this partnership will pave the way to a healthy, sustainable, and prosperous future. So I'm very proud about this event today. I thank all of you for participating, for organizing, to contributing, and I wish you a very fruitful meeting today digitally. Thank you very much.
Thank you everyone for your blessing and opening remarks. We will now move to presenting the Israel Innovation Authority and the relevant support program. Later on, we will continue to the second part of our events, presenting the technologies by the researcher from Fraunhofer Institute. To present the Israel Innovation Authority and the program, I'm happy to introduce Dr. Aviv Ze'evi, Director of Technology Infrastructure Division.
Thank you, Coral, and thank you, everyone. I will try to be short. So the main idea here is to explain how we can collaborate together. And I will start actually, I think that Dr. Appelbaum has already mentioned that our mission here in the Innovation Authority is promoting innovation for economic growth. And we see Fraunhofer as a very good partner. We are trying to elaborate the knowledge sources, and of course, for applied research, Fraunhofer is at the top of the list. So we are trying to look through a bottom-up approach, which means we are open to any good idea in any topic. We do look for royalties. It means that the Israeli companies we are supporting, we will demand from them royalties in case of success. Of course, we do understand that the Fraunhofer Institutes have developed a new knowledge and they are entitled to get royalties also for their knowledge, and we will allow this through this process. We are supporting any kind of collaboration, but in this specific case, we are supporting Israeli companies which are eager to get to a new source of knowledge. And please go next, so I will not repeat what my previous speakers already said. Agav, can you? You already know that, of course, Israel is eager to to increase the national expenditure on civilian R&D as part of the GDP. So far, we are doing so thanks to the multinational R&D centers, but also to the Israeli companies. And we have a huge number of Israeli companies. Most of them are quite small, but very innovative. And we hope that they will be able to commercialize this applied research you have developed. Please continue. So we are exposed to knowledge from different multinational companies, and we have more than 380 R&D centers already located in Israel. We hope to have a Fraunhofer Institute also in the next few years, but so far those small companies which are here in Israel are in many cases, I would say, a spin-off of those employees which are working in those multinational R&D centers. And thanks to that, they are already exposed to new ideas and new knowledge, but also to the way to commercialize this knowledge in a good way. And this kind of collaboration can be very good for both sides. Please, next. So we are here in the Israel Innovation Authority, support everyone. We are a hub for a government collaboration with also the growth companies and the private funding and the startups and the academia. And that's why, that's one of the reasons why we are open to the Applied Research Institute, which are not exist, as you can see it in our diagram, but to the Israeli academia, which can be a co-partner to this kind of collaboration. And I will explain this in a minute in our funding tool. Please, next. So we are talking here about the knowledge import. The knowledge import is quite a new program, though we have quite a few success stories so far. And the main goals of this program is to do a validation of academic knowledge, in this case, knowledge that was developed by the Fraunhofer Institute, to do adjustments to the relevant needs of the Israeli company. And that's why we have here today tens of Israeli companies which are interested in this knowledge. So far, we have 120 listeners. And to create a platform for the economic potential and knowledge commercialization, which will be done through this subsidy we are able to provide. Please go next. So the motivation for us is that the knowledge commercialization program is creating collaboration within a Fraunhofer researcher, which have an IP that was developed, and an Israeli industrial partner, which is able to commercialize this IP. We do not demand any exclusiveness in regards to the knowledge itself. It means that it might be that this IP there was an attempt to commercialize it through another company, but we might show a different angle of innovation of this specific IP. And the main idea is to close the gap between the knowledge that developed in the Fraunhofer Institute and the need of the Israeli specific company with this kind of collaboration. Please. So the program itself is up to 24 months, up to 3.4 million shekel, which is almost 1 million euro. And the funding is 50 or 60%, mostly 60% to the project budget, which means that the recipients are exempt from repayment of royalties in this specific part. But we hope that in the next step, there will be already a production of a specific product by the Israeli company, and we will be able to support even more, a few more years. And in this case, we will demand royalties. So the IA grant is directly to the company. The company is hiring the researcher from the Fraunhofer, and there is an agreement signed by them of knowledge import. We are funding you directly the funding to the Fraunhofer Institute. Of course, we are not doing any new development of IP, but more adjustment of the needs of the IP to the needs of the Israeli company. And that's why we are able to fund the entire cost of the German partner in this specific case, if we see any commercialization agreement between the two parts. Please go next. Just to give you an example of this kind of collaboration, so we had an Israeli company, Hill Applied Medical, and that was cooperating with the CERN Research Institute. Of course, you all know the Israeli, the international infrastructure, which is located on the border between France and Switzerland. And the need was specifically about magnet design for a proton therapy systems. And this was a knowledge which was not here in Israel in any academic institute. So that this kind of collaboration was extremely important for the Israeli company. And there is we are already finishing now the third year of this common project. We allowed them in third year because of this specific needs. And as far as we monitor this project, we can see that it was a huge success. Please go on. So I will ask Lital now to continue and to talk about the application process itself. Please, Lital.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lital Burian, the director of the Commercialization Knowledge Program in Israel Innovation Authority. In the next couple of minutes, I want to help you understand the application process. Okay. Thank you, Agar. So first, the application needs to be submitted by the Israeli company. Every company in Israel have a personal account in our website, so they need to go there and upload the application. The application needs to be submitted on a yearly basis, so totally we'll get 2 applications for the first year and for the second year. The application forms, we have 3 forms plus appendices. The first form is a Word form filled out by the Israeli company, and it's a detailed explanation of the request. Also, it have details of the partners, milestones, and estimated budget for 24 months. The second form is Excel form filled out by the Israeli company, and it presents the budget for the next 12 months. It's also included the budget of the foreign research institution under subcontractor. And the last form is Excel form. It's filled out by the foreign research institution, and it's include the budget of them for 12 months. Please, next, thank you. In addition to these forms, the partners need to sign a MOU agreement between them. The MOU need to have 3 parts. The first one is a detailed definition of the IP. The second is the commercialization cost and terms. And the last part is a list of obligations to be delivered by each side. Eligible cost for the foreign research institution can be on salary, equipment, and materials. And eligible tests can be validation, IP adaptation for the company needs, and manpower training. That's it. I hope I help you understand a little bit about this process. And if you have any question, you can ask me on the chat, or you can write me an email. Thank you.
Thank you, Lital. And now Dr. Hagit Schweimer, Director of Life Science Division at Israel, will present an open for submission international funding opportunity in the frame of the PRIMA program, where both Germany and Israel are participating in.
Thank you. Thank you, Coral, and thank you for Aviv for the invitation and the opportunity. What I would like to present today, great, thank you, is PRIMA program. And I'm very happy that the Horizon was already mentioned today. PRIMA is one program that Israel is part of this program. And it's like some program of Horizon. The focus of PRIMA is in the Mediterranean area, and we're very happy that Germany is also part of this program. So this is a great platform for collaboration between Israelis and German participants. And the reason I'm presenting this program here today is that it has two different sections. You can see the list of the participating countries in the bottom of this slide. You can see Israel and also Germany. And yes, thank you. If you can go to the next slide, you'll see that it has two different sections, section 1 and section 2. Section 1 is it works according to the usual rules of Horizon. So it's not the main focus of the main focus today. I would like to focus in section 2. Section 2 works a little bit different, in which each country funds its own participants. And here in the Innovation Authority, we fund the Israeli participants exactly according to the rules that were already presented today. So tech transfer and everything that has in the Innovation Authority applicable to PRIMA program. The only thing and the only difference that in addition to the German partner and the Israeli partner, you also need a consortium with at least one more participant from a third country, from the member states of PRIMA. Just to give you a little bit more details about the focus of PRIMA, PRIMA has focus in three main areas. It's water management, it's food and farming systems. And the focus is in the Mediterranean area. Everything relates to the climate of the Mediterranean area, the food, the nutrition, the agriculture, also the culture, the specific citizens of the Mediterranean countries. So this is the main focus. So I just want to be very clear that there are two sections, section 1, which is according to Horizon, and section 2, which works according to the rules that were already presented today. You can see the timetable, the deadline is very close. It's in April, but the submission is 2 stages. So you only need pre-proposal to be submitted on April. And you can see that for section 2, the one that relates to the Innovation Authority and the funding program as was presented today, the submission is on the 21st of April. You can also submit, and we will be very happy if you submit to section 1, which is the submission is the 13th of April. But you should know which section you're submitting to. You should contact us specifically if you would like to submit to section 2. So we will be able to help you with all the rules and the eligibility, and you should know the deadline for each section and for each call for proposal you're submitting for. In the next slides, if you want to go, you can see more details about the specific topics. You can see here, for example, in water management topics, that there is one topic in section 1, it's 1.1.1, and there's a different topic for section 2. It always starts with 2. For example, here in the water management, alleviating Mediterranean water scarcity through adaptive water governance, you can see that all the topics relate to the Mediterranean area, the specific conditions, environmental, climate, cultural, everything you can think of that relates to this region. The topics are water, farming systems, and food, but environmental aspects are very important. Specific focus on culture and the specific nutrition of the Mediterranean area is very important. There's one specific nexus topic, it's in section 1, but it's for water, energy, food, and ecosystem. If it's of interest for you, you're welcome to take part of it and submit. And the most important thing is that you need a consortium, not less than 3 participants from 3 different countries. Germany and Israel is excellent collaboration. Just find another partner from a 3rd country. And please come to ask for more, to us, to me, and to Nir, that is the NCP of this program. We'll be very happy to help you with more details about the topics, the eligibility, the criterion, everything that you need. And this is everything I have to say today. Thank you.
Thank you, Hagit. Please note, the event is recorded and will be uploaded to the YouTube page of the Israel Innovation Authority. You are invited to follow us in the media channels. Okay, let's move to the second part of our event, presenting the technologies of the Fraunhofer Institute. The technologies in the different fields will be presented in a number of rooms. So every participant is requested to join the relevant room by pressing on the button of the bottom, breakout rooms. During the event, you will be able to switch between the rooms. Every room will have a representative to help you. In the main room, we will have a guide to help you in a case of any problem or concerns. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Coral.
Thank you.